Hi, welcome to another episode of Book Covers DIY. Today I'm going to show you how to design a text-only book cover. So let's get started. So here we are on Canva.com. This is that free website we use for all of our book cover designs. Once you register and log in, you'll be taken to a homepage that looks similar to this. Right across the center, you should be able to locate book cover. Now mine is here right at the front because I use it so often. Yours might not be, so you can always use this arrow to scroll across to locate it. If not, just come up to this search bar and type in book cover. It's going to take you over to the book cover templates page where there are currently 5,617 templates. You can always scroll through here to find one you like. Let's see if there are some samples here that are text only or minimal text. So this would be a great one to start with and customize if you're wanting to start with a pre-made template. I, as always, am going to start from scratch, so I'm going to just scroll all the way back up to the top and click on this first choice, create a blank book cover. That's going to take us over to the design area. So here on the right is our canvas, and over here on the left we have our toolbar and then our toolbox that will change depending on which tool we select. Now for today's tutorial, I'm going to be working on a front cover only since we're going to be focusing on the design aspect. If you are needing a full book cover for print, then be sure and check out my tutorial on how to design a print book cover. In this video, I take you step by step to calculate all the dimensions needed for your particular book, as well as go on to design the back cover and spine. You can find the link to that tutorial in the description box below, so be sure and check that out right after today's video. Okay, now before we get started on our book cover, I want to hop on over to Google where I've already Googled text-only book covers, as you can see right here, just so we can check out a few samples and get some inspiration. Now, today I'm not going to be doing anything fancy. I want to actually stick with something very simple. I want to do a cover with minimalistic typography, something like this one here, or maybe this one here. I think we'll come back for another video to learn these more complicated covers like this one here with these sort of like wacky letters or giant letters, or even something like this. I can show you how to do something like that on a future video. But today I want to stick with something very basic. Maybe here's a related search. Let's go to minimal typographic book covers. And here's going to get more samples of what we're going to do today. Again, we're going to probably just do something simple like this. All right, so now that we have some inspiration, let's hop back on over to canva.com. And normally we start with a photo or a graphic design, but today we're not going to be using any photos because, again, this is a text-only book cover. But we do need to start with a background color. So we can start with white like some of those book covers did over here in our samples. But I think for today, I'm going to actually do the opposite. I think I want a solid black book cover. So to change this background, you can just click on the rectangle and you can see once I clicked on it, we have this purple box highlighting it. And then we have this little rainbow box that just appeared up here in the corner. If you hover over it, it says background color. If you click in there, your toolbox is going to change and it's going to fill with these color palettes. Now you can ignore this middle part here. That's from the branding colors from my website. But if you scroll down, you're going to see we have two sections. We have the default color section. If you click on any one of these boxes, your background will change to match it, as you can see it's doing here. Below that, we have gradients. Let's say you wanted something like this one here. As you can see, it's changing from purple to pink. Here's another one from yellow to orange. This one's pretty cool, from black to like a gray. Now, if you did not like any of these basic colors, you could scroll up to the top and there is another rainbow box, but this one has a plus sign in the center. It says add a new color. If you click in there, you are going to get a pop-up box with these sliders. I always like to start with the bottom slider here across this rainbow. That's where you select your base color. So let's say we were wanting to go with a yellow today. I would slide it over to the yellow area here. And then I would use the top slider to select my shade of yellow. So as you can see, as I'm moving it around, it's getting more of like a orange color. Again, you can come down here and adjust your base color and then move your slider. Okay, so that's how you can select a color that is not found in the default colors. But again, for today, I am going to start with a basic black. So I will just come down here to the first selection. And when you hover over it, says black and it's all zeros. That is just solid black. All right, so once you have chosen your color, you can just click off to the side and your toolbox will revert back to the templates and then the purple box disappears. So now it's time to add our text. So I'm just going to come over here to our toolbar on the far left. On the third selection, it says text. If you click in there, your toolbox is going to change again. Now, if you scroll down, you are going to find quite a few pre-made titles. Now, you will notice some of those titles have a crown, and when you hover over them, the word Pro appears. That means that these titles are only available with Canva Pro, which is the paid version. But if you are using the free version, there are still many choices in here, as you can see. Okay, let's say for instance we wanted to use this one. It is a free title. We would just click on it and it would appear over here on our canvas. When it appears over here, you're going to see a small toolbar above it. The first thing you notice, it says ungroup. That is because these are actually two text boxes that have been grouped together. Watch, when I click on it, you can see that a small purple box appeared around huge. So actually there are two text boxes. See, I clicked again and now it appears around sale. So these are two text boxes that have been grouped together. You can always ungroup those. Then you can click off to the side, and then when you click on them again, so you can separate them. So let's say you liked the top word, but you didn't like the bottom one, or vice versa. Then you could always click on one that you don't like and click on the trash can to delete it. Okay, so let's say you just wanted this one, and then you wanted to write in the title of your book. You would just click in there, backspace, and I'm just going to write title. Then you can place it wherever you want. You can center it. You know, it's centered when the solid line appears. You can also make it smaller or larger by grabbing one of the corners and shrinking it or stretching it. So that is how you can use one of these pre-made titles on your book cover. But again, I like to start from scratch, so I am just going to delete that one as well and scroll back up to the top. We want to go down to default text styles and we want to click on the first selection, add a heading. It's going to place a text box over here on our book cover. Okay, so now I just need to think of a title for this book. Okay, I think I'm going to make this like a maybe motivational book. Let's backspace. Okay, I think I'm going to write one word per line. So I wrote tell. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm writing in all caps. Okay, that's all I'm going to write for this part. Okay, so the title of our book is going to be Tell Your Doubt to Shut Up. So it's a motivational book. So now I'm going to move these up, and then I think I want them much bigger. So I'm just taking the corner of the box and stretching it, and then I'm going to center it. Before I create that second text box, I want to choose a font I like. So to change our font, just make sure you have, if you've clicked off of your text box, just click on it again. And then you're going to come over here to Canva Sans. This is the default font. We want to change that. So we're just going to click on that down arrow. And then once again, our toolbox is going to change and we're going to have all of these font choices. You can ignore the top, recommended, recently used. You want to start where it says probably popular fonts. You'll start noticing that it's in alphabetical order. You will notice some of these have the crowns as well, but there are many choices that are available for free. So we can begin just clicking on the different font choices over here. Now I don't think I want a bold choice today because I want the shut up part to be in bold. So I kind of like that one, arrow. If you see an arrow next to your font selection, that means there are more choices. So here's regular and there's bold. Again, I think I want to stay with something regular because I want that shut up to really stand out. Here's a few more choices. There are many choices here, guys. I'm sure you will spend a lot of time selecting your font. But for today, I think I'm just going to go back to that one, that Aramo regular. Okay. I'm going to keep my text white. I like the way it stands out on the black, but let's say you wanted to choose yellow or a different color. To do that, just make sure your text box is selected. You'll see the purple box. Then you're going to come up here to this A with a rainbow line beneath it. Click in there, and again, you're going to get your color palettes. You can scroll to the bottom and you can choose one of these colors. You can see it's changing. There's a nice yellow or green. Again, if you don't want any of these basic colors, you can come up here and use the slider to select your own color like that. For today, I just want to choose a solid white. And so far, I'm happy with this font and this font color. But one thing I don't like is these huge gaps between the words. I want to kind of bring them together. To do that, I'm going to come up here and you'll see the word effects. We're not going to use that, but to the immediate left of it, you're going to see these 3 lines with an up and down arrow. That is the spacing. If you click in there, you're going to get some different choices. Letter spacing is the gaps between the letters, which these are perfectly fine. If you needed to adjust that, you can use that slider. We want to adjust the line spacing, which is the gaps between the rows of words. So I'm going to actually, right now it's at 1.4. I'm going to bring that back, maybe a 125. Okay, and then I'm going to click off to the side. Okay, so now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to add another text box by clicking on add a heading again. This time I actually want to move it down first. It's not going to let me grab it because it wants me to type in my title. I'm going to click off to the side and then click back on it, and then now I can move it. Okay, so in here I'm just going to write, again, all caps, shut up, and an exclamation. Again, I don't want to keep it as Canva Sans, so I'm going to click on it, come up to Canva Sans, and then find a bold font this time that I like. I'm going to go ahead and make it larger as well so we can see what it would look like. So I'm just grabbing the corners. That one's a nice one, that League Spartan, but I'm going to keep looking at some. Okay, I like this one here. It's called Pantone. Now, it did have the arrow beside it, so when you click in there, you can see it has thin, regular, bold, extra bold, and heavy. I want to go with the heavy because I really want that to stand out. Now, this one is part of Canva Pro, which I have. Here's another good one, Piece Sans right here. That one is free. Let me undo so we can see how similar they are. Right here at the top, you'll see this little curved arrow. That is undo and then redo. Okay, I'm going to stick with that Pantone, but if you're looking for a similar one, this Piece Sans is free and it is pretty similar to that. I want to make sure that these words stand out the most, so I'm going to stretch those larger. Okay, let's click off to the side. All right, let me make this one larger as well. Now, if you wanted to group them together so that when you move this one moves as well, you can click on the first text box, hold down Shift, and then click on the second text box. And you can see this dotted line appears around them, but there's still 2 text boxes. You can group those together by clicking on Group. And now you can see the dotted lines disappear and you just have one solid box. You can click off to the side, and then now when you click on them, they will move around together. You can also stretch them or shrink them all at once. If you ever need to ungroup them, you just have to click ungroup. Okay, so now I want to add an author name. This time I'm going to come over here and click on add a subheading because I want a smaller text box. I cannot grab it until I click off and then click back on. I'll probably put the author name down here, and let me think of an author name. Let's just say Alex Charles. Okay, so our fake author name for today is Alex Charles. We want to change this font as well. Let's come up here to Canva Sans and find a font we like. We have this very simple, clean line, minimalistic fonts. I want to stay with that. Don't want to go with anything like this or anything that's going to go against that style. You want to keep your cover very cohesive. So let's find another font along those lines. Okay, I like that one so far, Duru Sans. Oh, here's another one, Glacial Indifference. Let me click in there. There is regular or bold. I don't want to have... Oh, you know what we'll do? Okay, this is what we'll do. We'll do something a little bit different today. Normally, we always choose regular or bold, but what we can do, I'm going to show you. Let me actually zoom in so you can see this. Here at the bottom, you're going to see the slider. It says it's at 28% right now. If you slide it to the right, it's going to zoom in. Okay, so this time we're going to click in our text box and then we're going to highlight Charles, and then we're going to put just Charles in bold. And the way to do that is come up here to this B and you're going to click in there. And then once you click off to the side, you're going to see that Alex is in regular, but Charles is in bold. Now I'm still thinking these words have, the gaps are way too large. So let's click in there again. We're going to ungroup that. Click off to the side. Now we want to deal with just this section, the tell your doubt to. Again, I'm going to come up here to the 3 lines with the up and down arrow. We're going to go to line spacing and let's bring it all the way back. Just plain 1 and click off to the side. Okay, so now we can bring shut up a little bit. I want to make sure that the gap between these 2 words is similar to these and these. Okay, let me zoom back out. Okay, now I want to go ahead and regroup them. So I'm going to click on tell your doubt to, hold down shift and click on shut up and then group it. Okay, so again, we can move it and I'm just going to center it. You know, it's perfectly centered when the crossbars appear, the cross lines. And Alex Charles, I'm going to make it slightly bigger. I can grab the corner, but this time I'm actually going to come up here and where it says 66, I can click in there and let's try 72. That's a little bit. Let me go ahead and use the minus and let's go down to just plain 70. Okay, that looks better. Now I think that for this one, I might want to have a tagline up here. So I can either come over here and add another subheading and start all over, but instead I'm just going to click on Alex Charles. And right above it, we have this toolbar. Next to the trash can, to the left of it, it says duplicate. I want to click on that. And then now I'm going to get just a copy of Alex Charles. This time I'm going to delete that. And let's say, let's call this a... Okay, we'll say this is part of the mind building series. Let's try, we have 72, no, wait, let's go back. 70, that's the same size as Alex Charles, yeah. Okay, and then we just have to decide if we want to leave it regular or make it bold. Let's see. I kind of like it like that, bold. It kind of helps balance out the bold of shut up down here. All right, guys, I think we are done with our first cover. You see how quick and easy that was? I'm going to show you how we can quickly take all of this and make a second version, a second cover, and we're not going to have to start all over again or anything. We're just going to duplicate this and move some things around, and then I'll show you how to download them and we'll check them out side by side. Okay, so when you're wanting to make a second cover, you might think you need to click on add a page, but the only thing that's going to carry over is your background color. So we don't want that. We want to actually come up here and click on this little trash can and delete that. Okay, if we want to make a second cover with everything we have here, we need to come up just to the upper right of our design, and you're going to see the center option says duplicate page. If you click on there, it's going to duplicate everything we just did. As you can see right here, it says page 2. You scroll up, page 1. We want to make sure that we're making all of our changes down here on page 2. So let's just scroll down. Okay, the first thing I want to do is, I think for this one I want to, let's go ahead and ungroup these. So I'm going to click on ungroup, and again, now we have our 2 text boxes. Okay, originally we had everything center aligned, and the way to know that is, first of all, you can see that they're all center aligned, but right here to the left of where we were using spacing, well, 2 over to the left is the alignment. Right now you can see it's center aligned. So let's go ahead and switch that to be left aligned. So I'm going to click in there, and you can see when I clicked it once, everything jumped over to the left. You can actually click it several times. This is justified. This is right aligned and center and left. I want it left aligned. For this one, I don't know if I'm going to use mind building. I'm going to bring that down just out of the way for right now. And I want to bring tell your doubt. I'm going to bring that up. And then for shut up, I am going to put my cursor right before the U, backspace, and then hit enter. So now they are on 2 lines, but again, I want to left align them. Okay, but we have a huge gap between shut and up, so we need to come up here to our spacing, and we need to, let's try to bring that back to 1 like we did on, oh, that's too close actually. This one we might need it maybe a 110 or 1.1, yeah. And then again, I want to group those together, so I'm going to hold down shift and click on the second one and group. So now we can move them up and down. Okay, and then again, I don't know if I'm going to use that. I'm probably not going to use that mind building. I'm going to go ahead and just delete that. Where's the little trash can? Okay, so for Alex Charles, I'm actually going to place it over on this side, because again, we're always balancing out our design, even if we're not using a photo or a graphic. And we have all of these words on this side, so I want to balance out the cover by putting the author name on this side. And let me click off to the side. Let me see if I want to make that larger. If we want to make it larger, we can take up more of the cover. Okay, I think that looks better. All right, so I think we're already done with our second cover. Let me go ahead and show you how we can download these and check them out. First, we want to name our project right here. It says title. Let's say these are Shut Up Book Covers. And then we're going to click on share. And then we're going to go to download. It's going to default to PDF standard because it thinks you want to print it. I'm going to go ahead and change that to PNG since we're going to be checking these out. And then under pages, all pages too, I do want to download both. If not, I would uncheck the one I don't want to download. So I'm going to click on done and then download. It's only going to take a second. And it's already done. Okay, so let me pull these up. Okay, so here are our book covers. They're in a zip file because there was more than one. All you have to do is double click on the zip and then it opens them in a folder. I'm just going to double click on the folder and pull each one up, and let me get rid of all this background stuff and we'll check them out. All right, so here are two minimalistic text-only book covers. We just chose basic black and white for both of them. Again, you can change any color. If you wanted to, you could have had the whole book black and white and then just had the words like where shut up is in a bright red or yellow or something like that, something to make it stand out. What's so great about these books is even though you don't have photos and graphics, you can still customize them and make them stand out by using, you know, a splash of color here and there. All right, so our first one here, we have everything center aligned. Tell your doubt to shut up. This is our fake motivational book of our fake series, the Mind Building series by Alex Charles. I always tell you guys to try to stick with 2 fonts, 3 at the most, and we actually did utilize 3 for this book cover. But you can see, even though we have 3 different fonts, we have this one here was called, I think it was Aramo, and then Shut Up, we had that one was Pantone Heavy, and then the Alex Charles and the Mind Building series, those were both that Glacial Indifference. Even though there are 3 different fonts, you can see that they are all very cohesive. They all look very similar. You know, we have our skinny font here, and then we have our bold font because we want to focus more on these 2 words. And then here we have another sort of an in-between. It's not big and bold, but it's not as skinny. And then we did kind of a fun thing with the author name. We left the first name regular, and then we put the last name in a bold font. And then we quickly just duplicated it, and all we did with this one was we got rid of the subtitle, the Mind Building series, and we left aligned everything, and we separated Shut Up onto 2 lines to be more cohesive with the upper words, and then we made everything much bigger, and then we just moved Alex Charles from the center over to be right aligned. So you can see how quick and easy it is to make a text-only book cover and actually make several of them. It took us only a few minutes to make that second one. So I wanted to make these covers for those of you that are not into, you don't want any kind of background photo or, you know, graphic design, and you just want to stick with the text only or minimalist cover. We hadn't really done too many of these, so I wanted to do that, especially for those of you that just really like the minimalist look. These are extremely popular right now. All right, so if you are still needing to design your back cover as well as your spine, be sure and click the link in the description box below for my print book cover tutorial, where I will go on to teach you how to complete the rest of your book cover for print. Oh, and be sure and tell me which cover you liked, A or B. We'll say this one here on the left is A and this one on the right is B. I love hearing feedback from you guys. All right, so that's it for today. Thanks again for liking, watching, and subscribing. Until next time, bye-bye.